So Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves gave his reason recently to why he feels like he isn't in the conversation to be the face of the league, contrary to belief. In my opinion, I think he's one of the best players in the NBA. But he gave his reasoning and his opinion on why he feels like he's not in the face of the league, talks and conversations and categories yet. Just his personal opinion. Now, before we get into this video, really quick, I just want to say shout out to my very motherly mother. Happy birthday to you. Y'all wish a happy birthday to my motherly mother in the comments below. She will appreciate all the love. My great, wonderful, amazing mother. Y'all wish her happy birthday in the comments below. Happy birthday, my motherly mother, once again. But anyway, getting back to the video. Love you, Mom. Thank you so very much. Love you, Mom. Anyway, getting back to the video. Anthony Edwards said that he doesn't believe that he is in those face of the league conversations just yet, and he gave his reason to why. As he said, and I quote, "I think the face of the league comes with a lot of responsibilities, and I think one of those is winning a championship. I haven't done that yet. Maybe Jalen Brunson or one of those guys," Edwards said at Fanatics Fest. Now, the reason he mentioned Jalen Brunson, obviously, is because Jalen Brunson, obviously, recently did win the NBA championship, as we discussed, on the show a couple of weeks back. He broke through and won the NBA championship, along with, leading his team, the New York Knicks, to an NBA title. Anthony Edwards feels like the fact that he hasn't met those responsibilities as far as winning an NBA championship yet, that he doesn't feel like that he has, I guess you would say, qualified for, or it's necessary to be in those conversations because he hasn't really done those or tended to those responsibilities, like he said, of winning a championship. Which I would like to say this. I get his point. I really do. And that is a huge reason to why, and I still stand 10 toes down on this, by the way. I said during the finals, like around finals time, and I still say it. The faces of the league, at least from how I'm looking at it, the faces of the league will be SGA, who is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Victor Wembanyama. I feel like those two will be the faces of the league. I feel like those two will be our LeBron James and Steph Curry, like a mini version of that. It'll be like a mini version of LeBron and Steph. Remember how in 2015, kind of, like how Steph Curry was like winning the MVPs and he was in the finals and he was beating LeBron and stuff like that. But it was clear that whether you like LeBron, whether you like Curry, you had to respect the other one because the other one was also a face of the league as well. It was LeBron, it was Curry. Both of them were running the league at that point. If you weren't a Curry fan, you were a Bron fan. You weren't a Bron fan, you were a Curry fan. It just kind of was those things. And even if you didn't watch basketball, you could always be safe going to get you a LeBron jersey or going to get you a Curry jersey because you knew that both of those players were the faces of the league at that time. Even I remember, I don't know if you guys remember, but even during that time, like when it was like 2015, 2016, like when the whole LeBron-Steph rivalry kicked off, I remember, and I'm not sure if you guys do or not, but you used to be able to go into like a Foot Locker or any shoe store, Champs or whatever. Back when people used to go to the mall, you could go in the mall, right? And what you could do is you could go in any shoe store, whatever. And in any shoe store, you see two jerseys. During that time, it never failed. You could see two jerseys during that time in every shoe store. You could almost bank on it, like for real. You would see two jerseys. One would be that LeBron James Cleveland jersey that says number 23 on it. Okay, that's one. And the other one you can guarantee you'll see is that Golden State Warriors jersey that said 30 on it with Curry on the back. Those are the two jerseys that were in every shoe store, jersey store, whatever. They were in there. Why? Because they were the two faces of the league, whether you liked it or not. I don't care who you were a fan of. You had to give respect to LeBron and Curry for running the league at that point in time. They were. Like I said, you don't got to like the Warriors. You ain't got to like how they won their titles. You ain't gotta like LeBron and how he won his title. You ain't got none of that. But you had to respect them as being the two faces of the league at that point in time. So I believe the faces will be SGA and Wemby. Even though Wemby hasn't, broke through and won yet, I still believe that they will elevate, or not elevate, but they will promote both of them to a point to where they're carrying the torch of being the faces of the league. I feel like it will be SGA and Wemby. I personally do. But as far as what Anthony Edwards is saying about like how he hasn't fulfilled certain responsibilities, like I said, Wemby hasn't fulfilled those responsibilities either. But I still feel like that Wemby's going to get to that point. Like once LeBron retires and everything like that, it's going to get to a point, and I said this and I'll say it again, it's going to be Wemby and SGA as the two faces of the league. And Wemby still might not have a title at that point in time. Who knows? Now, SGA has been fortunate to have a title, and I feel like that's what gave them the edge to put SGA in that space, because not only is he great for Oklahoma City, not only does he represent the NBA greatly, not only does he not get into trouble, not only does he not get into drama, not only does he not, make the NBA look negative in any possible way, but on top of all of that, he managed to break through and win an NBA championship with a team that a lot of people really didn't see doing that, because they didn't have a lot of star power. They didn't have a lot of, you would say, name recognition, like as far as name recognition players, like big name players. They didn't have a lot of players like that, but they still broke through and won, with SGA clearly leading the show and being the captain of the team, right? Leading the ship. So that's what I feel like elevated him to that point of being like, okay, like, yeah, he's one of the faces. He's the face of the league, or he will be the face of the league, or one of the faces of the league. And what Wemby has done with the Spurs has done the same thing. He's elevated himself to a point of being like that, one of the faces of the league, in my opinion, that people can now get behind, but they can believe in. And he does. And I know the foul stuff is kind of an area of concern, because he did have a couple questionable fouls in the NBA Finals and in the playoffs. But other than that, he raised the Spurs to a level that they haven't been to in a very long time. He's shown everyone who watches the NBA that, look, while the Spurs might not be the most talented team or whatever, he showed them that with Wemby out there leading the show for them, and Wemby on that court, they can have potential to beat anybody if Wemby's out there. The sky is the limit if Wemby is on that court. The sky is the limit. So I feel like they've elevated both of themselves to be the faces of the league. And one of them doesn't have a championship either, in Wemby. So when Anthony Edwards says that he doesn't believe that he's put himself in that category yet, for lack of a better way to put it, I get it, but I gotta be honest with you, and this is something that I've heard myself at point in times in my life, but I have to say this with someone else in this instance. I kind of think, Ant-Man, just to be honest with you, I kind of think that you're kind of underestimating yourself. ATLian to ATLian, I kind of feel like you're underestimating yourself. I do. Because you have only, let's keep it real here. Let's just put the facts out there. You've only missed the playoffs once in your career, and that was your rookie year. Every year after that, you've made the playoffs. Since you've been in the NBA, you've only missed the playoffs one time. You have raised, let's be real, you have raised the Minnesota Timberwolves to a point to where they haven't been in a very long time, as far as keeping them competitive, them actually being a quality competing team in the playoffs. And now that they have LaMelo Ball, they're pretty much, I would call them, they're championship contenders, I would say. They're definitely contenders. You have had great seasons. You've beat the likes of people like Kevin Durant, LeBron James. You went to war with people like Luka Doncic. Not only that, you also beat Luka Doncic as well, but you also went to war with people like Luka Doncic in the past, when he was still on the Mavericks, and you lost that series, but you still went to war with him. You went to war with Wemby. You've beat a lot of great people in your time. You've got the Minnesota Timberwolves back to the Western Conference Finals, which is, I mean, a huge feat. Now that you have LaMelo Ball, who's to say that y'all don't make it to the finals now, once again? For your career, you've done nothing but perform as far as, like, to expectations of being a high pick and being like that guy. You've done nothing but perform from that aspect. Just to let you guys know, in case y'all think I'm joking. Anthony Edwards in his career is a 4-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA player, and 1-time All-Rookie player. All-Rookie first team. So I don't understand why he wouldn't be in that conference. I guess that's the part I say he's underestimating himself. I don't get why he wouldn't be in that conversation. I don't. Me personally. I really don't. For his whole career, just to give you guys a little idea, for his whole career in 6 seasons for the Timberwolves, he's averaged 24.6 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 4.1 assists in 442 regular season games. So, and by the way, just to add on, just a little icing on the top, right? Just a little icing. This previous year, right, he averaged 28.8 points, 5 rebounds, 3.7 assists, 1 steal a game, 0.8 blocks per game, and 35 minutes per game. Shot 48% from the field, 39% from the three-point line, 79% from the free throw line, and had a 61.7% true shooting percentage. So, why wouldn't you be in those conversations? I get the championship thing. Don't get me wrong. I get the not winning a championship thing. I do. I get it. I understand it. I get to where he's coming from. I do. But with all that you've done in your career, I feel like he's underestimating himself. I do. Because like I said, Wemby hasn't won a championship at all, and I'm still standing 10 toes down on the fact that he will be one of the faces of the league. I wholeheartedly believe that. He has the talent. He has potential. He's shown that he can do it on all levels as far as like being an NBA player, maintaining that level of play when it comes to the playoffs, getting his team to the on deep runs, in the playoffs. All that stuff, he's checked those boxes. So I feel like it will be SGA and Wemby, in my personal opinion. But for Anthony Edwards to believe that he hasn't, I guess you would say, qualified himself to be in those conversations, I wouldn't agree. Because I think Anthony Edwards is you guys know how I feel about Anthony Edwards, but I think Anthony Edwards is great. Supremely talented. I do. Now, the thing I will agree with him on, and shout out to Anthony Edwards for bringing up this point, on the responsibilities part, as far as past winning a championship and everything, being a LeBron fan myself, and Anthony Edwards has commented on this as well, we know as fans of LeBron James, and Anthony Edwards, as he's pretty much said, he's a fan of LeBron James as well, of LeBron's career, and he's been keeping an eye on LeBron throughout the course of his career, right? And much like myself, Anthony Edwards called out the fact that LeBron James has been the most criticized player in NBA history, bar none. Nobody comes close. He's been the most criticized player in NBA history, being the face of the league. And I can go out on a limb and say him being the most criticized player spans from him being the face of the league. I can go out on a limb and say that. I would agree with Anthony Edwards as far as that. And with the responsibilities as a LeBron fan myself that I have had to see LeBron James deal with being the face of the league, I'm going to go out on a limb and tell you this right now. If I was an NBA player, hypothetically, I wouldn't want to be the face of the league. I wouldn't. It's too much that goes into it. Way too much. Way too much. Everything you do gets criticized. Everything. You go wash your car. Oh, why you washing your car? Why you ain't washing it yourself? Like everything. You go swimming. Oh, why you swimming when you know you got the season coming up in 5 months? Like everything. You get a haircut. Oh, why you getting your haircut? Why you need to get your haircut? You need to be working on your game. Everything you do gets criticized. I'm talking about it could be from the least to the most, whatever. You go to a new team. Oh, why you leave your new team? What you couldn't win with the old? All that. Everything you do gets criticized. You go to you go to Randy's, right? You go to Randy's, get you a donut. Krispy Kreme, get you a donut. Oh wow, why you eating donuts? You need to be eating some spinach with salad and like, bruh, like everything you do get criticized. From the least to the most to the whatever. From the cars you drive to the what you got on to what you're wearing to who you're dating to who everything. Everything you do gets criticized. I wouldn't want to be the face of the league. So as far as the responsibilities that Anthony Edwards is talking about, along with winning the championship, I get his point if Anthony Edwards would have said, I don't want to deal with that, so I don't want to be the face of the league. If he had said that, I would have 100% agreed. But the fact that he feels like a championship kind of like, oh, that just like ends, like that's pretty much take away my chances of being like that. I don't agree. And especially because, let's be real, like I just said, at this stage of your career, don't forget you play on the team now with LaMelo Ball. Who's to say y'all don't get it done this year? So who's to say y'all don't get it done this year? And then would that put you in the conversation of being the face of the league? I think you're already in the conversation now. I just feel like from how Anthony Edwards has like talked about potentially being the face of the league, I feel like he don't want to deal with that extra drama, which I understand 100%. I get it. Shout out to him. I wouldn't want to deal with it either. But I would say that he's in the conversation. I don't think he's leading that conversation now, but he's in the conversation. Because here's the thing, when we talk about this whole face of the NBA thing. We're talking about face of the NBA. So when LeBron retires, there's going to be some more faces or another face that's the face of the league or faces of the NBA, right? So the way I look at it, or the way I break it down, is you're going to have a player that is young enough to where you can rely on them for a while. So same with like LeBron was. LeBron was like the face of the league, but they knew that LeBron was going to, now they didn't know he was going to play this long. Pause. They didn't know that, but they know he was going to play 24 seasons, but they could kind of guess that, okay, LeBron's going to have an extensive career, right? Anthony Edwards, SGA, Wemby, who else would I put in that category? Like Anthony Edwards said, Brunson. At one point, I would have said Luka, maybe Jokic. Like, those players are going to have decent length NBA careers, okay? They're going to have some nice length pause, nice extensive NBA careers. So with that being the case, with them being younger players, the only thing they would need to really like process in these moments is, okay, can they represent the NBA in a proper way? Can they be the marketable player as far as the guy that everyone can, get behind? Can they be the guy that the kids look up to? Can they be the positive role model? Can they keep a clean record as far as not, and I ain't talking about like arrest and nothing like that. I'm talking about, can they keep a clean record as far as they ain't in no drama, they ain't in no, They ain't, you don't catch them in no club or nothing. You don't catch them, you don't catch them doing too much off the record type stuff. You don't catch them doing nothing that might look wrong. You don't catch them doing nothing that might make the organization or the NBA look wrong or make them look irresponsible. Like, can you handle all of that pressure? Can you make sure that you make the NBA look positive and look good at, if you can, all times? If that's a yes, I feel like there's no reason to why you can't be the face of the NBA. And Anthony Edwards, as far as that, I'll be honest, he's had a couple moments to where he would have, if he was the face of the league, he's had a couple moments to where he would have been heavily criticized for things that he's done, I guess you would say, off the court in his personal life. And I'm not here to criticize that. That's that man's personal life. I worry about what he do on the court and in sports related terms, so I don't care what he doing in his personal life, whatever, that's him. Shout out to Anthony Edwards. I care about what he's doing on the court. I don't know what he's doing in his personal life. That's his personal business. But what he's done in his personal life, some things he's done in his personal life would have been heavily criticized if he was the face of the league. Even more heavily criticized than they were at the time, with him just being an NBA player. So if he's talking about those responsibilities as far as not wanting that pressure, not wanting that constant looking over your shoulder, constant, I got to make sure what I'm doing, make sure I don't make it look no way, or make sure I don't make the team look away or the NBA look away. If he's talking about like the pressure and the constant dealing with that and the fact that he doesn't want to deal with that, 100% I agree with him. I agree with that. But if he believes in his mind that he can't be one, I disagree with that. I do. I disagree with that because I believe that Anthony Edwards, if he wanted to, can easily be, if not the face of the league, he can be one of, because I don't think it's going to be one face anyway. It's going to be multiple. So he can't be one of the faces of the league for sure. 1,000%. Easily. So I get his point as far as the championship thing. And that's true. He hasn't won a championship yet. But like I said, neither has Wemby. And I think he will be one of the faces of the league. So, Ant-Man, I kind of think you're downplaying yourself a little bit. But I do feel like at the end of the day, you will be in the conversation to be one of the faces of the league. Whether you think you are there now or not, I feel like eventually, if you're not there now, you will be in the conversation to be one of the faces of the league. I do, because you're just that freaking talented. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below, man. Y'all think Ant-Man is right? He's not in the conversation to be a face of the league, or is he, like I said, downplaying himself a little bit? Y'all let me know, man. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.